Heck of a fire. Let me get my tripod up. Oh, can't have that dinging.
BV31YW. Tempo.
Black BMW, been given FHP as well.
Yeah, we are still burning here, friends. This is a fire you're looking at the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge, or Cape Canaveral on Merritt Island here. Kind of between Titusville and Cape Canaveral. We're looking at it from Titusville right now. And it's quite the sight, I have to say. The amount of illumination from this fire is pretty wild.
Glenn is 50.
It's just quite the illumination's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing it from work all day. It started right after I got to work. I got to work at 4.
It was right before then, yeah.
There was that one big pocket of storm that was one and done, and then it was just angry enough to do that.
It's just been burning ever since.
Yeah.
There's a lot to burn.
Yeah. I know there's supposedly also doing prescribed burns somewhere else, but I don't. But that might be some mixed news.
Yeah, it's possible they started some fires to try and basically build a fire break.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, but it's over 600 acres. It's a pretty good one. It's a pretty big one.
Yeah, that's basically. I mean, I don't live on that side of the river, but I live that far north. So
Yeah, okay.
That'll be fun and smoky.
Yeah, it's been smoking pretty good up there. I was in Titusville earlier,
Yeah.
North Titusville earlier by Mexico.
Yeah, I'm up about 3 miles.
Copy.
past
Confirm
that.
CO in the house.
Yeah, you got the
Location
onshore
with
wind is
headache,
kicking it all
requesting
that
rescue.
way, so hopefully it's not too bad.
Well, I mean, no, what can you do? At least it's my day off.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Beautiful in a way, especially now that it's night.
Yeah, I mean, especially because I mean, it's it's nature doing its thing. I mean, this is what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Not hurt anything or doing anything. Just hurting all the underbrush.
It's just down the road that's worst. Yeah, so everybody to get off work for the Space Earth nights having to go the long way to South Gate.
Burning away. Burning away. It's kind of amazing actually how much better this camera does compared to my Dash DSLR. I mean, you can just see the difference is like almost quite literally night and day on that.
Brayton is 1054, 1029 with a valid Class C to expire in 29 and endorsements being motorcycle also.
I'm going to put on a different lens. I'm going to see if this is going to alter it anyway. This is a DSLR lens down to 50mm f1.4. I think I'm running at right now. A little better, maybe a little more zoom, a little zoomy zoom.
Trinae Simone Ingram Martin out of Titusville showing valid 1054, 1029. And 26. She is very angry and does not wish to speak with me. I'll be 10-8. Your uniform for now. 10-4.
And again, just to reiterate, if anybody is just popping in, not really familiar with what's happening here, this is just a wildfire and a wildlife refuge, so there's no structures threatened, no people threatened, really no infrastructure threatened. This is really just kind of nature doing nature right now. We saw a lightning flash right behind the fire. I think you guys saw that. Pull up a radar here. Yeah, there is a little fire, or a little thunderstorm, excuse me, behind that. Hey Garrett, hope you're having a wonderful evening.
Meta 68. Bravo response unknown problem. 700 East, Strawbridge Avenue, 311, Melbourne.
And real quick, the you can kind of see on the radar view, the fire, it's showing up pretty good on radar. I'll kind of loop it here. You can see it's just a steady, slow but steady smoke plume, just kind of continues to rise from this thing. Let me put that back full till I get the radar loading here. Let me get a ton of pain. I'm smashing down a few burgers and beer. Oh, what a Saturday. Can you ask for anything more than that? Are you kidding me? You can kind of see the radar loop now. This thing has just kind of been burning and burning and burning for several hours. It's kind of churning away. It's kind of a big build up there, back probably about 2 or 3 hours ago. And it's just kind of been continuing to burn since. Guess I should shoot some photos now too, huh?
For 476. I made landline with Laura, the second RP. She said she last saw him in front of her business, which is 2825 Business Center Boulevard at Suite Delta 10. He was directly in front of the door. Said he only had shoes on. He could have been wearing Crocs, but that wasn't really her focus.
Hopefully no poison ivy this time, Garrett. That would be spectacular for your sake. This thing just will not focus. This one, my dash camera, just kind of get to focus.
Rescue 44. Motor vehicle crash. For 1 West. Mile marker. Go. Rescue 24. 6. Bravo response file with possible injury. 637 Friday Road. Go.
420 Teletype.
Go to Station 3, respond, mutual aid EMS, night 637 Friday Road, 637 Friday Road, mutual aid EMS, timeout 2239.
Good.
Danielle is 54, 2019, 27 is valid.
Garrett, that's a little out of my control. Someday. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I too, for the sake of my own work schedule and life, would also hope that happens sooner rather than later.
On top.
double urinating. Yeah. The alert is just dual response. Yes, sir. Stuart Wig is not on file out of Ontario. 1054, 1029P, no record out of Florida. Tobias 1. And not the Palm Bay, 2214.
I can break.
Have our 292 Lanternback Island Drive. It's going to be reference to a male who walked into a house and then turned around and walked back out. Time lapse of 15 minutes and southbound on Lanternback. Right. I see a call now, reference that vehicle crash. Stamp for mile marker 41 westbound. I just see fire rescue side. Their call, it just says 2 vehicle crash.
And again, if you're just popping in, what you're looking at right now is a wildfire that was caused by lightning earlier this afternoon, a little bit before 4 o'clock this afternoon. We had lightning strikes. This particular area that's on fire is a wildlife refuge. Very likely they're not really doing any type of offense on this fire. They're probably just kind of let it do its thing, fighting it defensively, just to run any critical infrastructure, although where it's at is, again, a wildlife refuge. There's not much happening there. So it's in a pretty safe spot for the fire to just kind of do its thing. This is about as natural as it gets, really. It's caused by lightning. It's burning through it. What makes this a little unusual this time around is we're actually kind of dealing with some drought conditions, which is evident by just, how this is just kind of burning up tonight. March and April have been pretty dry here. Things have really gotten pretty dry after what was an El Nino winter. We had a lot of weather, a lot of rain. Things have really quieted down though, March and April. We are starting to get... We did actually get some action from, again, thunderstorm. We had a severe thunderstorm that came on through the area. This particular area actually did not get rain. It was actually pretty dry in this area. But what you're looking at, again, is a wildfire in a wildlife refuge really close to NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Really close to Kennedy Space Center. Basically, if you know where the shuttle landing facility is, that's pretty much what you're looking at. And it's just to the west of the shuttle landing facility.
First level.
We hear about a lot that's interesting, quite interesting. So this is going on near Titusville, Florida right now. Not related to our severe weather that we're talking about immediately in Oklahoma, obviously, but it's definitely interesting and something we wanted to bring to your attention here. What do you think? Okay.
So I got on the call just in the middle of us doing something real quick. Sorry about that. I just kind of stopped talking. Yeah, if you're kind of just popping in and tuning in, we are looking at this fire. It was caused by a storm earlier. Did evolve into a severe thunderstorm warning. Did produce some pretty strong winds. I believe there was some gust around 40 to 45, not too far from this area as the storm kind of marched down the coast. But this particular area that's on fire, it actually didn't really get any rain from the thunderstorm. It actually got very dry. Debating about maybe trying to get a little bit closer towards the Titusville area, but I know they closed the Max Brewer Bridge, so I'm trying to figure out what might be a good place to get you some good views still. I think I have a place in mind. One of them fires from, again, this was started by a lightning strike earlier this afternoon. Shortly before 4 o'clock, a lightning strike actually caused this fire. I can actually go back. Give me a second, and I believe I can pull it up. The actual lightning strike that caused this is shortly before 4 o'clock. Let me try and do some magic here. I think I can do this properly. Shortly before 4, so if I pull up radar scope, let me toggle lightning, let me pause, and I'm going to go to this afternoon. Let's do 4:05. Select. I'm not sure if archived lightning will work or not on this. Doesn't look like it wants to. Let me I'm doing something kind of off screen right now. I'm trying to see if I can pull up the actual lightning strike that caused this. I'm pretty sure I can. But I think I need to do fewer frames, perhaps. Maybe not. Maybe I can't do it on the desktop version. Yeah, it looks like I actually cannot do it on the desktop version. Okay, hang on, stand by. I am actually at Shiloh's. That is exactly where I'm at. I'm in the parking lot right now of Shiloh's. I'm debating moving up towards Titusville, like downtown Titusville, to get a bit of a better view. But I don't quite want to leave yet. Real quick, this is the storm earlier. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, I think you can, but you can kind of see those two lightning strikes that were just east of Titusville. There are two lightning strikes just east of Titusville, right where this fire is at, and that's the rain you can see down to the south that became severe warned. But again, that is the actual lightning strike that caused this fire just to the east of Titusville. And this area didn't get any rain either. So, I mean, once the lightning hit, it's dry fuels, and then they went to town. So, again, these are the lightning strikes right in the wildlife refuge. The shuttle landing facility is over here, the SLF. That's off to like the top right corner of that radar image. That's really the closest anything is to, I guess, being threatened by this fire. But threatened is a very strong word. Nothing is particularly threatened by this. There's fire crews monitoring, watching it defensively, kind of letting it do its thing. They do prescribe burns pretty frequently. That's a pretty common thing for them to do in this area, especially in the springtime. But normally this time of year, everything is so, so there's so many dry fuels that things just kind of catch on fire and just kind of keep going. But this time around, it's been so dry. Normally it's really rainy, but it's been so dry. So we're actually in drought conditions here. And so again, this is the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge that you're looking at right now. That is the particular thing that's burning tonight. I'm going to go ahead and grab my camera equipment real quick, and then I think I'm going to try and get a little bit closer to the fire to kind of see if I can get a little bit of a better view. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to or not. We will see.
Absolutely liberating knowing Geico can help. Why choose?
This is actually 600 acres. 600 acres has burned, according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. It's a 600-acre fire from where it started to where it's at now, at least. That could be even bigger now, because that was as of about 2 hours ago, is that report of 600 acres. Alright, you guys want to go for a little adventure? Maybe you just go pop up? I think it's a couple hundred off. It's really hard to tell, you know. It is really deceiving how big or big it is not. So let me grab my camera stuff, and then let's go a little bit of a journey. We'll go a little bit closer to this fire. The wind is blowing southeast to northwest, so as long as I stay in Titusville, I won't be inhaling this. I was in the smoke earlier for the video. Don't get me wrong, I was deep in the wildlife refuge earlier. There are firefighters there. They have been fighting that. Safe travels home.
Yep. You need any pictures from earlier today? You got plenty.
No, I'm good. I was all in it earlier, so we're good. Thank you. Yeah, you too. Alright, we're gonna just kind of get a little closer to this fire here. Otherwise, we can come back to this spot if we need to. Keep eyes out that way and see if we can spot it again. We're going to move a little bit closer to the fire at this point. me switch cameras since that's not going to give you much of a view right now. We'll just kind of creep northward a little bit. I think I have a few spots that could work. Yeah, again, it's not like it's, like a huge breaking news story or anything like that. I mean, it's, again, it's in a wildlife refuge. It's kind of in a safe place to be. It's just kind of gonna do its thing, burn itself out, and call it a day. But, from a lot of the locals, I mean, they're definitely here. There's a lot of people that are all over this thing. A lot of people kind of out photographing it. Again, it's about 600 acres. It's in the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. So it's just kind of burning a whole lot of nothing, really. Just kind of burning fuels. And so we're just getting buzzed by a bunch of motorcycles. I'm trying to think there are any sources, though, that have covered it. I think Florida Today, they might have talked about it. Talk of Titusville, most likely, has kind of talked about it, too. A few of the more local media entities. Yeah, wildfires can happen, the dry seasons. They're certainly not impossible to happen. I'd say maybe it's a little bit more rare, obviously, than, say, like Colorado and California and places like that, New Mexico and Texas Panhandle. I mean, you're going to get a lot more fires out that way. But it can happen when you have the wrong conditions coming together. That's what can happen. Again, we had a really active winter. A lot of rainfall. It was a classic El Nino winter. We had a lot of precipitation. It was very rainy. But then, March and April hit, and the rain machine kind of just, turned off, we really started losing a lot of the precipitation, and that's how quickly things just got so out of control. I do want to try this one spot here. I don't know if I can get a view of it or not from here, but we're going to try. This is the Veterans Memorial Park that's up here. I don't know if they have any parking spots that, look into the water. I'm going to say I probably doubt it, but we shall see. Let's see what happens here. Veterans Memorial. Is this just a roundabout? Yes. Okay. Alright, well that doesn't help me out. Alright, let's, looks like traffic is back open to Max Brewer, so maybe let's try that. Try a little dirty Max Brewer bridge action. Can I get there from here? I believe this goes through. I think that's actually road closed, though. I don't want to mess with that. Alright. Stand by. Looks like Max Brewer Bridge is back open. I think it was closed earlier. We'll see. I think I can turn here. Sorry for the tight or the really quick turns too. By the way, I have a better lens for nighttime on, and so it's a little bit more zoomed in. It's a 50mm, but it's down to f1.8, so it's a little bit better for seeing at night. see what happens here. So we're crossing the Max Brewer Bridge here. This might give you a little bit of a better sense of scale to how big the fire is from up here. Maybe not. The dome isn't helping. Let me, I'll switch to the DSLR cam here. The dome is obviously got a lot of reflecting of lights inside. We do got some flashing lights up the road. So this might give you a little bit more of a sense of scale as to how big it is. You can kind of see how far it's spread out over a pretty large area. I was at several of these spots earlier today. I'm trying to see what might be one of the better ones to park at. Trying to get a good view here. I'm gonna be able to get a good one. Switching cameras. There we go. Kind of a hard angle to really see. Dome camera, you can kind of see a little bit more, but come on, work with me here. Problem is there's a lot of headlights. You can see the flashing lights down the road. And again, you can kind of see how it's spread out in multiple different areas too. It's not all just kind of confined to one spot. trying to find a decent spot to look, but I was not having a lot of luck. This was just a lightning strike, friends. Nothing too crazy with this. Just lightning. Or nothing too exciting, I should say. I'm gonna flip her around. I'm trying to get a bit of a better view. I think I have a spot in mind. I just don't know if it's full or not. Give me a second. Oh, right there is not bad. I think I swung his camera around too far. Hang on. Trying to get a... Yeah, like, so there's a roadblock up there. I didn't really want to mess with that. I don't know if this camera's any better. I don't think that's any better. I think this might be the better camera still. It almost kind of seems like, since the way the smoke is blowing here, the better view actually might be the other way, almost back to where we were. That almost might be a better play than this. This fire is not sketchy. It is caused by lightning. It is a lightning-driven fire. There's a thunderstorm that came up here. This is a fire that's burning at the wildlife refuge, the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. But again, this is basically just they're kind of just letting it burn. They're not doing a whole lot of offensive battling of this fire, mainly because there's no reason to. It's all just a wildlife refuge. I mean, it's all just land. They will do prescribed burns during the year, so this is, if anything, it's almost kind of helping them out. It's almost doing their job for them. But we had lightning strikes earlier this afternoon that actually caused a little bit of a fire. I can actually go back and show you if you're curious. I think I still have this set up. Yeah. Here's a look at the radar scene earlier. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but there was a thunderstorm that developed right over Titusville, Brevard County. The models all were forecasting thunderstorms. You can see these two lightning strikes. I don't know how well you can make them out, but they're just east of Titusville. These two lightning strikes here, outside of the rainfall. We call them almost like a bolt from the blue, somewhat. I mean, it was pretty close to a thunderstorm. A bolt from the blue would imply much farther away. But anyway, we had those thunderstorms that developed. The lightning shot out way ahead of the thunderstorm itself. And then, we had some outflow winds from the storms. It started blowing the flames around. There's a lot of dry fuels because we're in drought, and things kind of took off. How do you think fires started before humans? Wildfires. Because this might sound crazy, but there were wildfires before humans. I know, right? Crazy thought. Alright, I'm done with you. You're banned. I can't deal with your bull anymore. Block user. I just can't. Get him out! Alright. Yeah, the fire's kinda tapering out here. Again, from this perspective, it's so spread out, just across the whole horizon. You can see off to the left, well, a car just parked over there, but there's the roadblock. They're shutting traffic down to not go that way, probably for good reason. And then here's all the fires. You can see it kind of spreads. There's the moon rising, by the way. A little shot of the moon. Then here are all the fires here. It started off in one area, and then it just kind of started spreading with the winds. The outflow winds, you had onshore winds, just a whole lot of action. This is near Titusville, north of Melbourne, but in Brevard County. But it's closer to Titusville. It's right across the river from Titusville. Yeah, lightning. Power lines do a lot, though. Yeah, fires start by lightning pretty often. If you ever look at Storm Prediction Center, they will do like dry lightning forecasts for fires. This is a pretty real problem. Usually this is something that happens and affects, areas more like California, Colorado, those kind of places. It's a little bit more rare in Florida. It's really just a perfect combination of what led to today. We had very dry conditions March and April. We had moderate drought start growing in the area, so a lot of dry fuels. And then we had thunderstorms pop up today running the sea breeze. We had lightning strike out ahead of the storm, and then the storm turned and kind of followed the sea breeze southward. So the area that actually got struck by lightning didn't really see little, if any, rainfall from it. So it's pretty fascinating how that all kind of panned out. And you can see this is the event tonight. It's drawing a lot of people. You do have people that come out here every night for like fishing and stuff like that, but this is a lot more than you would normally see on a night like this. And of course you can see the roadblock down the road. And you can really just see just how much it's spread. You got fires, there's the moon, you can kind of see rising there. And you have a bunch of different hot spots. You got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a big one right there, 6, and there's another one that you really can't see further up behind these trees. debating if I want to go back to where I was earlier. I almost kind of think I had a little bit of a better view. I do want to get a few photos though with the moon rising over the with the fire. I'm gonna swap out some equipment here real quick. Let me try my 18 to 135 lens first. I'm gonna step outside, take a few photos, friends. I'll be right back. Tripod. Do. These photos look so cool. I'll get some up on Twitter real quick here momentarily. But again, let me shoot over here. You can see the moon rising. So that's your moonrise over the flames. Pretty wild, eh? Pretty good hot spot going here. I don't know exactly what's burning there. It's getting into some more fuels right there. Huh. Interesting that this doesn't want to work. I don't know why I can never get this to work properly. Photos just like refuse to show. I think I stood on an anthill. My ankles are getting murdered right now. I got big problems. See if I can bring Photoshop in. How about that? I'll try and edit in Photoshop. That gonna work? No? Okay. Never mind. Comical how like this nothing allows me to share a photo anymore. Like I'm trying to photo and it's like it's anything that's like full screen, it just refuses. Can I even get this to work? I had the same issue during the eclipse too, where like it just refused to let me show anything. Photo wise, and it's doing it again. Crazy. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. Let me, I guess, edit it real quick. And I'll bring it in that way. Yeah, again, there's kind of several fires still burning, but I feel like overall it's kind of trending down a little bit. Alright, image. Let's see if I can do it this way. Fit to screen. Okay, here we go. You ready for this? On X. Moon is still hiding behind the cloud back there. Wait a minute. Actually, no. That's an old feed. Stand by. Let me refresh that. It should not be that anymore. There we go. We're back. Roof cam is back. Sometimes I think I live in like real life. I think it's really good that Grand Theft Auto is coming to Florida, because just look at the content we have here. He's driving away and I couldn't get it in time, but just all the bedazzled car. Why is that? There we go. Bedazzled car is indeed what drove by me. And it had like RGB like strips all over it. Yeah, again, the last report that we had was 600 acres. That was as of, I believe, 8:30 a.m. local time, or 8:30 p.m., excuse me, local time. So a little over 3 hours from now, or a little over 3 hours ago. There we go. We got there eventually. That is the last report that we had. If I kind of just pan over a little bit, I should have done that. Hang on, let me try this. Here we go. If I kind of just pan over this way, you can really see, there's obviously the full moon. Well, I think yesterday was the full moon, or a few days ago. I don't know, my life is just a blur. But you can kind of see, the fire's spread kind of over a pretty large area here. Alright, so that is something I actually do need to fix with this mount, so I can do an easy pan. I don't have the ability to do that. Let me, I have a new, mount in my chasing vehicle. I've kind of been experimenting with it. And so what I just did, realized I have it installed the way I don't want. Ooh, sorry about this. Excuse me, guys, as I kind of work through this little minor issue. Oh boy, that was kind of not what I wanted to do. Why is this not tight? Sorry, it's just a mess right now. I apologize. I am trying to fix this real quick. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to do. Still not doing exactly. It's a little messed up, but anyway. Obviously, the hottest spot is kind of this right here, that centered screen. And they have kind of fires extend all the way down the line there. Lots of just these small little fires have kind of broken out. But all from the same initial source, of course, but yeah. The way that the winds kind of carried the embers and the flames and everything. This started at about just before 4 o'clock local time. So as we approach midnight, It's been going for a while. Good 8 hours this thing has been burning so far. Compared to about an hour ago, it has certainly calmed down. Even on radar, things have really kind of quieted down. The plume is not as visible as it was. Pulling up the radar view here, you gotta see that plume kind of center of the radar view. That's your fire, and it looks a lot more meager than it did earlier. And for anybody, again, that is just kind of popping in, again, you're looking at a live view of a wildfire that has started at the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. This is adjacent to the Kennedy Space Center. This was triggered by lightning. We had a thunderstorm that developed a little bit before about 3 o'clock, and then shortly before 4 o'clock, we had some lightning strikes inside of the wildlife refuge. The lightning strikes actually occurred out ahead of the rain. And then the area that's currently on fire did not really pick up any rain. Little, if any, rain came from the storm that produced the lightning. We are still in the middle of drought here along the Florida Space Coast. It's been a very dry March and April. We need rainfall. Some areas got some beneficial rainfall today, but the area that's currently on fire unfortunately avoided all of it. We had the lightning strike occurred shortly before 4. Based on my data that I looked through, it looks like it was about 3:53 p.m. We had a lightning strike detected in clear air, well, at least no precipitation over the wildlife refuge. Since then, according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, this has burned at least about 600 acres at this point. The fire kind of continues to burn. Around that, 3 to 6 o'clock time frame, we had the combination of the sea breeze ongoing. We had the combination of also some outflow from thunderstorms. So there was a lot of different wind shifts and just gusty winds. So what ended up happening is you kind of had these fires spread kind of quickly as things kind of got going. And that's where we are now. Again, this is in a wildlife refuge, so it's not threatening any homes, any businesses, things like that. It is adjacent to the Kennedy Space Center. It's in, it's just to the west of the shuttle landing facility. We have seen fire crews kind of in and out of the area. A lot of them are probably on the Kennedy Space Center site, kind of just watching it and acting defensively. Again, this is a wildlife refuge, so this is actually probably a pretty good thing to happen. They do prescribe burns from time to time in various areas that need them, and we can get some pretty big prescribed burns here. This is not one of those. Again, this is due to lightning. This has now been burning for more than 8 hours here. You can see day has turned to night as the moon is rising over the Indian River. I'm sure the animals are able to kind of get out of the way. We didn't have, winds that were howling, super, super fast. And, a lot of birds, they're up in the trees. The trees are, they're not going to really be that impacted. The trunks may get kind of burned, but, like high up in the trees, where the nests and things are, those typically don't get too affected by fires. It's a lot of the underbrush that really kind of gets going. And again, that's a good thing. We kind of want these wildfires to clear out some of that underbrush. It's good. It's good for the system to kind of have that. I can't say for certain that no animals weren't, injured or hurt in this, but I would think that things are looking pretty good for them. I wouldn't think this is anything too, like disastrous for them. Again, that last report that we had, this was as of 8:30 local time. It was 600 acres have burned. meant to have the other camera up while I did that, but there we go. Widening that shot out a little bit. I meant to have this camera up while I did that. I don't think I did that though. Quite a night. I was kind of hoping we might have a few thunderstorms, pass off the coast, maybe get some lightning, in the background, but that does not seem to be the case. Just a few light showers passing on by right now. This fire continues to look pretty sad at this point on radar. It's not much happening at this point. It's what 51,000 ISO is. Just when there's any source of significant light in the way, it just gets absolutely blown out. Remember I said earlier that could be Grand Theft Auto out here. We got some sweet RGB lights now showing up to the party. I don't really know what is legal. I feel like that's not legal though, but I mean he's also driving by a bunch of police officers, so maybe it is. I know in Illinois that would not fly. Just because I think it was like anything but like the white, amber, red standard issue, lights. I don't think you can have any of those displayed. I remember there were like stories like cars had like Christmas lights like on their like roof rack, and they were getting like pulled over. I don't think they were really getting ticketed. They're getting at least pulled over and being like, "Hey, stop it." You can see all the people that continue to show up though. It's quite the crowd. It is midnight, a little after midnight now. We're still getting a lot of people showing up to this, showing up here. Word has gotten out considerably. People are here for the action. I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the new Grand Theft Auto game, because that's going to be here. I don't know if that leaked map is true or not, but it looks like there is Kennedy Space Center included in it. NASA is good at starting fires. All I will say is that this was caused by lightning. This particular fire was caused by lightning. And that's all I will say on that matter. My car is an absolute disaster right now. I have just wires everywhere. I don't know where my lens cap is for this. Oh, never mind. I know where it's at. It's in my pocket. So now we got people kind of just continually coming in and out, so I apologize if I kind of just keep repeating myself, but if you are just popping in, to kind of recap what you're looking at, this is a wildfire at the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. This is adjacent to the Kennedy Space Center. Shortly before 4 o'clock, we had a thunderstorm in the area that had a few cloud-to-ground lightning strikes in the wildlife refuge, just a little west of the shuttle landing facility. The area has been very dry, and it started a fire, and that fire has been burning since about 4 o'clock this afternoon, so now more than 8 hours this thing has been rolling. As of 8:30 local time, closing in on 4 hours ago, this was at 600 acres. I venture a guess we are more than that now, although the spread isn't as much. And so right now, the fire's just kind of burning, doing their thing. It isn't a wildlife refuge, so this is actually fairly healthy for the ecosystem for this to happen. It's, not the end of the world for this to happen. They actually do prescribe burns here, and so this is kind of doing their job for them. But yeah, that's what we're looking at right now, is a little bit of wildfire. We had a pretty good thunderstorm that blew up right along the sea breeze, which was forecast. It's that time of year. The models actually did a very good job picking up on that thunderstorm that developed near Titusville. And that storm kind of hooked and banked hard south, right along the sea breeze. And so the lightning was produced out ahead of the rain, and then as the storm began to turn south, the rain didn't come here. So ironically, it was caused by lightning, but it didn't rain here. If there was any rain, it was very little. Trishana, wildlife, it's always hard to say. It's a wildlife refuge. There are a lot of species of everything that live here. It wasn't like a rip-roaring fast fire. We did have some outflow winds and sea breeze boundaries and stuff like that. So, it was gusty. That's part of the reason why it's so spread out tonight. However, I don't think, this is going to be a great loss of life to wildlife. Especially the birds. A lot of nests are high up in the trees. And the fires really don't impact that too much. The fires, they move along at a decent speed. They really just kind of burn a lot of, the underbrush, a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm along power lines, but what's in there, no, there's no power lines. There's actually, all that's in there is a road. There's a road that runs along the perimeter, and that's about it. And yeah, that's the moon, Tim. If you're curious, this is a photo I... Right now it's hiding out behind the clouds. But again, this was caused by lightning. It wasn't power lines that caused the fire, which is pretty common in really dry areas when you have really powerful winds. This was just a lightning strike. In fact, I can actually show you that lightning strike if you're interested. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Here we go. And again, this was the radar snapshot. This was at 3:53 p.m. You can see these two lightning strikes just to the east of Titusville. They were ahead of the rainfall and outside of the rainfall, and so that's what we're dealing with. This lightning struck a very dry patch of the wildlife refuge, and then, well, here we are now. Pretty good fire continues to burn tonight. At the moment, nothing is actively threatened that we're aware of. It is, again, kind of in an open wildlife refuge. It's adjacent to Kennedy Space Center. They do have fire crews, of course, in place. Papa says, geez, must be over 1,000 acres. I don't know if it's quite that big. It's what I can tell you is that it's more than 600. That was as of about 4 hours ago. So, actually 1,000 may not be out of the realm of possibility. It's probably not growing incredibly fast. So I'm really curious what we're going to end up at here. I know we're over 600. I would say we're probably... 1,000 doesn't seem that crazy to me. Assuming it's, spreading at the same rate, that would probably be about right given the current time from when the fire started and when we had that report of 600 acres.
For a female on white stripe.
The winds aren't too bad right now. In fact, I can actually tell you. Let's see. Let's pop over to the Tico Airport, the Titusville Cocoa Airport. Let's see what the current winds are. It's pretty light now. When the fire first started getting, really getting going, we had, a thunderstorm in the area, so we had some outflow winds. The Titusville station is offline. Are we kidding? Okay, let me try Cape Canaveral. So Cape Canaveral Air Force or Space Force Base. Current winds are calm. Yeah, not super strong right now. That's not at all surprising to me. But earlier, when the fire kind of really started getting going and spreading, we had some winds probably closing in on maybe 30 miles per hour, 30 to 35 miles per hour. Again, we had, outflow from thunderstorms, and then we had some sea breeze that kind of came on through as well. So we had all sorts of different kind of winds and boundaries and such. think what I might do here is change positions back over to the south side of Titusville. So we are going to lose visual here as I drive through town. But I do want to get a little bit of a better view because it looks like the fire is kind of spreading a bit more out of my line of sight. If I kind of pop the roof camera up here, again, you can kind of see what's happening out in front of us, but we're kind of blocked by these trees right now. So I'm actually going to go ahead and swing us around. Give you as good of a view as I can as we kind of choose spots here. So you're going to get a pretty decent view as we cross over the Max Brewer Bridge. That's spread out pretty good. I don't know if I will have a view underneath this bridge or not. I'm gonna switch spots and jump underneath this bridge to see what I can see. I know there's a parking lot that kind of goes under towards that restaurant, but I don't know how deep it goes. So I'm going to give that a shot here. Not super sure what kind of view I'm going to have. We had a lot of fishermen kind of in the area here. See, they kind of love hanging out by this bridge. My one problem here, I just remembered.
Out of Titusville, Florida. The decal is valid. It is temperature 1429. If we go ahead with your signal 0.
6, command a Glock 47, semi-automatic 9mm. Zero number is Bravo Zulu X-ray Romeo 726. That's BZX or 726 on a Glock 47, 9mm semi-automatic.
10-4, 1054, 10
keys are in my car still. They're right here, car. You know, I did joke yesterday that the real storm chasing was probably going to be in Florida today instead of Oklahoma. Does this count? Might be a stretch.
Sierra 452-540-03-9660, Hispanic female so far.
Cameras were triggered. They advise they can see two men walking around the construction site. Revert to 1097. 10-4.
But
1054, 1029.
Kill.
Turn it on a gray over gray Dodge 4-door. 1313 Elizabeth Ave. For final, it's going to be a 410 Scherrer Boulevard at the industrial base. I'll be switching to teletype.
Bravo Charlie Mike Bravo 65. Show not registered to a vehicle expired in 2013.
Union Bravo 2. Go ahead.
And if you are watching again over on the YouTube side of things, appreciate you all for tuning in. Feel free to give the video a like if you're watching here on YouTube. It does help me out. If you don't want to do that, that's totally fine too. If you're new to the channel, I do live streaming of severe weather. Generally anywhere. I'll travel for severe weather as needed. But I'm in Florida, as you can probably tell based on this stream. That is why. And today, again, we were chasing some, a little bit of a mosquito just flew right at my eye. Ow. That actually kind of hurt. Yeah, thanks for tuning into the channel, guys. I think I might have been standing in the way. I apologize for that. I didn't realize my positioning when I was doing that. Kaysen, last I heard, this is as of 8:30 local, so about over 4 hours ago. It was 600 acres. That's what we were, that's the number we last had, 600 acres. It's likely more than that now, but probably not considerably more, just because the winds have died down quite a bit. We're no longer talking about those really intense winds. We didn't really have strong winds from the get-go. We had some outflow boundaries and sea breeze collisions that kind of led to some gusty conditions, maybe around 30 miles per hour. I don't think it ever really got particularly strong. But I would venture a guess, just based on, it took about 4 hours to get 600 acres. We're 4 hours beyond that now. It's probably not as spreading as much. So I would venture a guess we're in that 800-ish acre ballpark maybe at this point. There are many different hotspots, as you can kind of see from this view. I mean, the far right side of your screen is kind of the far right edge, and the far left edge of the screen is the far left edge of the fire, and there are multiple kind of embedded hotspots along the way. So it has spread out pretty good. Right in the middle of your screen on this particular angle, I am fairly certain that bright light pillar there in the middle, I believe that is the Launch Complex 39 Bravo, the SLS platform. I'm pretty sure that's what that is there. You really can't see on this view, but on this view, the wider view from the roof cam, the far right edge of the screen, that is the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building. That is not threatened or anything like that. It's just, behind the fire from our point of view. The fire is pretty contained just inside of the wildlife refuge. It's not really, threatening anything. It's adjacent to the Kennedy Space Center. I wouldn't be surprised if it is burning inside of KSC property. Technically, where Kennedy Space Center begins and all that is kind of ambiguous too. I think the whole wildlife refuge, between where I'm at now all on Merritt Island is technically Kennedy Space Center, I believe, anyway. But technically speaking, it probably is on KSC property. But it's not threatening anything in particular on their property. At the moment, anyway. Yeah, kind of keeping an eye on some of the weather that's happening over in Oklahoma. Due to some work commitments and things like that, couldn't make it out there for the festivities, the big severe weather outbreak.
Chart out of Merritt Island, decal on 27,000.
Alright guys, I think it might be time for me to wrap this up. I really appreciate you all for tuning in tonight. Again, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe for more storm chasing content and other random shenanigans like that. We are just entering hurricane season, so yeah, it's likely going to get pretty active here on the channel with tropical weather storm chasing, and of course our severe weather season begins to pick up as well with the convective season, so feel free to tune in for that going forward. But I think we're going to wrap up this stream as we're now approaching 1 a.m. Eastern Time. If you are just popping in real quick, I see Mike just popping in real quick. I just want to reiterate what's on fire right now. This is a view of the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. This is adjacent to the Kennedy Space Center.
Neighbor is getting a hammer as well.
Lightning struck and caused a fire here at the Wildlife Refuge a little bit before 4 p.m. local time. This fire has now been burning for approximately 9 hours. The storm that triggered the lightning and therefore fire was severe warned there for a while. Alright, but yeah, we're going to wrap this up then. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Feel free to like the video if you enjoyed the little live stream. Feel free to subscribe for more videos, and we will see you again at the next one. Have a great one, everybody.